Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, is known for his bold and often controversial ideas. Among them is the notion of annexing Greenland and Canada. Trump's interest in Greenland was particularly highlighted in 2019 when he expressed a desire to purchase the island from Denmark. His rationale was primarily strategic, considering Greenland's location and rich natural resources. Trump's ambitions did not stop at Greenland. There have been discussions, albeit less formal, about the possibility of annexing Canada. Critics argue that these ideas are impractical and provocative. They point out that such moves could lead to significant political and diplomatic fallout. However, Trump supporters argue that these bold proposals reflect his commitment to American dominance. They believe these plans could potentially benefit the U.S. economy and security. Trump's propositions, while controversial, have sparked important discussions about U.S. foreign policy and territorial ambitions. These ideas, though unlikely to be realized, continue to be a topic of debate among politicians, analysts, and the public. Greenland, an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, has its unique perspective on independence. The island is home to a small population, primarily Inuit, who have a distinct cultural identity. Greenland has been moving towards greater autonomy, with many residents aspiring for full independence from Denmark. The idea of becoming a U.S. territory is generally not welcomed by Greenlanders. There is a strong sense of national pride and a desire to preserve their cultural heritage. The prospect of annexation by the U.S. is viewed as a threat to their sovereignty and way of life. Greenland's government has consistently rejected the notion of being sold or annexed. In response to Trump's 2019 proposal, Greenland's prime minister stated that the island is not for sale. Greenland's stance is clear: they value their autonomy and are committed to maintaining it. Canada, a neighboring country and longtime ally of the United States, has a strong commitment to its sovereignty. The idea of annexation by the U.S. is not only unrealistic but also unacceptable to Canadians. Canada has a rich history and a well-established government that prides itself on its independence. In response to any discussions about annexation, Canadian leaders have been unequivocal in their stance. They have emphasized that Canada is a sovereign nation, and will remain so. The idea of becoming part of the United States is not up for debate. This sentiment is echoed by the Canadian public, who cherish their national identity and autonomy. Canada's relationship with the U.S. is based on mutual respect and cooperation. Any proposal that threatens their sovereignty is seen as a betrayal of this relationship. Canadian leaders have called for respect and have reiterated their commitment to defending their independence. Canada remains steadfast in its commitment to sovereignty and will continue to resist any such proposals. The international community has not remained silent on Trump's proposals to annex Greenland and Canada. European leaders in particular have voiced strong opposition. Denmark, which has sovereignty over Greenland, was quick to dismiss Trump's idea of purchasing the island. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen called the proposal absurd, highlighting the importance of respecting Greenland's autonomy. Other European leaders have also expressed concern. They fear that such moves could set a dangerous precedent for international relations. The idea of powerful nations annexing smaller territories is reminiscent of a colonial past that the world has worked hard to move beyond. Global reactions have not been limited to Europe. Leaders from various countries have emphasized the importance of respecting national boundaries. Trump's proposals have been widely criticized, reflecting the strong commitment of the international community to uphold these principles. The legal and ethical implications of annexing sovereign territories are profound. Under international law, the principle of sovereignty is paramount. The United Nations Charter prohibits the acquisition of territory by force. Any attempt to annex Greenland or Canada would violate these principles. Annexation requires the consent of the people living in those territories. Given the strong opposition, such consent is unlikely. Ethically, annexing sovereign territories raises significant concerns. It undermines self-determination and threatens cultural identity. Annexation could result in the loss of autonomy and foreign control over resources. Respecting sovereignty is crucial for maintaining international order and stability. History is replete with examples of forced territorial expansions and their often devastating consequences. The annexation of territories has frequently led to conflict, resistance, and long-term instability. One notable example is the annexation of Sudetenland by Nazi Germany in 1938. Forced annexations often result in resistance from the local population. This resistance can lead to prolonged conflict, as seen in Crimea in 2014. The international community condemned this action, leading to sanctions and ongoing tensions. The consequences of forced territorial expansions extend beyond immediate conflict. They can lead to long-term instability and hinder development. The imposition of foreign control often results in the exploitation of resources and suppression of local cultures. Forced annexations have consistently resulted in negative outcomes. These lessons highlight the need for adherence to international laws and norms. Analyzing the feasibility of Trump's proposals to annex Greenland and Canada reveals numerous challenges. Economically, the costs of such annexations would be substantial. The United States would need to invest heavily in infrastructure, governance, and social services for the new territories. Additionally, the potential economic benefits are uncertain and may not justify the expense. Politically, the proposals face significant opposition. Both Greenland and Canada have made it clear that they have no interest in being annexed. The strong sense of national identity and commitment to sovereignty in both regions makes it highly unlikely that they would consent to such moves. Furthermore, the international community's opposition adds another layer of complexity. Militarily, the annexation of sovereign territories could lead to conflict. The United States would need to be prepared for potential resistance from the local populations and the possibility of international intervention. The risks associated with military engagement are high, and the consequences could be severe. In conclusion, Donald Trump's proposals to annex Greenland and Canada, while bold, are fraught with challenges and opposition. Both Greenland and Canada have expressed a strong commitment to their sovereignty and independence. The international community has also voiced its opposition to such moves, emphasizing the importance of respecting national boundaries. The legal and ethical implications of annexing sovereign territories are significant. History has shown that forced territorial expansions often lead to conflict and long-term instability. These lessons reinforce the need for adherence to international laws and norms. Ultimately, the feasibility of these proposals is highly questionable. The economic, political, and military challenges make it unlikely that they could be successfully implemented. Respecting sovereignty and promoting international cooperation are essential for maintaining global stability and peace. The international community must continue to uphold these principles to ensure a better future for all.